Shed Uncuffed. About to hit you guys with another episode. And I tell you what, we are on a roll, everybody. I've had some guests coming in here, man, with some fantastic stuff to say, fantastic stories, fantastic personalities, just fantastic backgrounds and stuff like that. Fantastic advice. And you know what? It's so critical in this type of world that we have going on right now, where every time you turn around and you turn on the news or you Google search, there's another shooting, there's another car that all of a sudden veered off to the right and killed a bunch of pedestrians and stuff like that. It's just a sad, sad world. And, you know, my heart is as big as the people I like to surround myself around with. And if I can keep bringing guests on board who can keep spreading nice messages and love throughout the world, maybe we can just start like 1% at a time and keep growing and growing from there. So I got a really, really good buddy of mine, Mr. Bryan Azevedo, on board with us today. And I have to tell you what, I met this guy and I've known this guy on so many different levels. He's a San Leandro native. That's where I first met him as a police officer. I got a chance to see him in so many different levels. He's a community service guru. He's all about the community, and he's actually vice mayor of San Leandro right now. And he's taken a moment to bless us with his presence. Bryan, can you grace us with your introduction and we'll roll right into our show, brother?
Hello, everyone. Bryan Azevedo here. Thank you so much, Kenny, for having me. We've known each other for a while. I enjoyed all our ride-alongs, and oh yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Hey, picture like a alligator teaming up with a pheasant, and then they team up and they're like, hey, let's go on a quest to make the world a better place, and then they start down the road and stuff. And you know, that's me and Bryan, man. We couldn't be more different personality-wise and stuff like that. I mean, now we have the same type of bubbly personality, but our backgrounds are different. He's a blue-collar worker. You know, I was a football player. You know, he's a community activist. So I was a police officer at the time, you know, but every single time we met up with each other, we were talking about how do we combine our different sides, man, and make it work. And I was blown away by some of the different ideas that Bryan had in place, even when we would do a ride-along with me. You know, let's tell our listeners, man, where you came from, man. Where'd you come from? Where'd you grow up? You grew up in San Leandro?
When I was younger, I lived in Hayward, and then I was in San Leandro too. My grandparents lived over here, so I was always over here during the summers. And oh yeah, I really enjoyed San Leandro. But I want to mention one thing. I remember when we met, how our roads collided, and when we met. We were at the post office. We were Stamp Out Hunger. We were with Davis Street Community Center volunteering, and we were unloading mail trucks to help the community.
That's right. Oh, that's right.
So our roads collided when we met, helping the community, because that's what it's all about, helping the community. Yeah. So I've been in San Leandro for a long time now. I ended up buying my grandparents' house. It was a typical Portuguese house. It was all green with red sidewalks. So if you ever go around San Leandro and you see red sidewalk, a lot of Portuguese used to paint their sidewalks red back in the day.
Is there any symbolism behind that, or is it just a common?
But you know, those were their colors. You know, their flags, green and red. You know, the Christmas colors. They love those colors.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. You can also know Bryan's house because they have like this little miniature size house with books in there, and with a sign that says "Take everyone you need, just bring back, and you know, provide other books if you have ones for sparing." And you would see a lot of people, a lot of kids especially, walk by and grab a book. And to me, that was like the way to do it, man. That's the way to do it.
Yeah. I got that idea when I was in Tennessee. I saw somebody with a little free library, and they had a little thing, and they had food in it, and they had books. So I thought about that, and my dad helped me build that little free library. So we have it up there on the bottom shelf. We have kids' books. On the top shelf, we have adult books, and yeah, it works out good. It really helps the community.
So when you drive around San Leandro now, has the city changed much to you?
Yes, the city has changed, and yes, we need to bring our city back up. Yeah, we have some issues in San Leandro with crime, homelessness, garbage. So yes, we have some issues in San Leandro. So we're trying to bring our city back up.
Wow. Okay. So, where does it start? Because when I drive through San Leandro, I see a lot of progression. You know, they're tearing down old businesses like the big old longs. It was CVS, I guess, at the time. Drugstore over there across the street from almost the police department. And I think they're going to be building another shopping plaza with a catwalk.
Yeah. Well, we do have great plans. It's just right now we're in a transitional stage. But yeah, where the old Longs was, that's going to be Sprouts, and we're going to have housing on top of that.
Wow, really?
Yeah. And Bayfair, we're redoing Bayfair. Bayfair got sold, so we're going to be having housing, and we're going to also have stores on the bottom. And I'm talking to the different communities. We were looking into also a multicultural place. Maybe on a couple floors have little Asia, a couple floors little Africa, couple floors little Europe. And someone says, well, what about little Australia? Yeah, we'll have to include a little Australia too. I don't know how many Australians there are in San Leandro, but we
Good eye, mate. Okay.
But we got to make sure everybody feels welcome in San Leandro. You know, we're 37% Asian, 29% Latino, 19% white, and 11% African American. So we're a very diverse city. So we got to have places where everybody feels welcome here. So
what about the mixed kids? Where do we fit in there?
I'm not sure your percentages offhand, but
okay. Hey, you know, when I was out in San Leandro, I heard that you guys were planning some type of it's like a village type project out there for the mall, Bayfair Mall, and hearing it like how you just broke it down. It almost made it sound like were you part of the birth of that idea? Were you in the planning meetings to put all that together?
Well, we're still having meetings. There's a lot of ideas going out there, but that's one idea for me. Yes. Yeah, we want to. Well, another council member also said, and I agree with them. Councilmember Simon says we need to include either a skating ring or a bowling alley, something for families, and I agree with that because we're losing a lot of those in our community too. So. We want something in there for families also.
You know, and I kind of take a little bit of responsibility for it. I tried, Bryan. When I was a police officer, I specifically signed up to take the shift Bayfair Mall just so I could be down there and help because you can see that bad element coming. And it was just almost like a indicator of doom is coming to this mall because these packs of people who aren't even San Leandro citizens and they're not even there to buy or shop or anything like that. I remember one time, Bryan, we got a call of a fight in progress. I get there and I see one guy. He matched the description. I try to stop him. He takes off running, but then he stops and he's trying to pull something out of his jacket. I grab him before he can pull that out. Then he takes off with the jacket, and now we're running through the mall. We end up catching him. He was trying to pull out a gun. You know, that was a kind of like a scary situation we found ourselves in when it was like the minutes prior to that, it was nice atmosphere. Then all of a sudden that happened.
I remember when there was those riots at Bayfair. I went there the day after and you were there. I met with you there. I don't know if you remember, and we saw the aftermath of it.
Heartbreaking, huh?
Yeah, it was. It was heartbreaking. Yeah.
So is this something you said as you're driving around and you're seeing all this stuff that you said, I got to do something about this? So you had nothing to do with politics prior to that, right? You said, no,
I didn't think prior to do it with politics. Well, also my union, I used to volunteer a lot and I found the importance of volunteering and being part of a community, you know, making sure everyone's welcome. And they gave me the idea of, you know, maybe you want to get in some leadership role. And I was appointed a rec and park commissioner. So I started out as a rec and park commissioner of our 13 beautiful parks, going around and checking, see what was wrong with the parks and reporting back. Oh, yeah. I love our beautiful parks in San Leandro.
Wow. The marina, right?
The marina. We got Halcyon. We have Toyon Park. We have the Tony Santos Park now. They renamed it. We have a lot of parks.
Where's the Tony Santos Park now? It's been a while.
It's off of Davis Street, and before you get to the freeway, it's down in that little.
Oh, got it. Okay, nice. Well, that's fantastic, man.
Yeah.
And homage to people who pioneered the progression of our city. I see it.
Yeah. Well, my family has a long history in San Leandro, especially Bayfair Mall too. When my grandfather was a kid, his first job was where Bayfair Mall was. It was a racetrack. He used to collect bottles as a kid. And that was the first job, yeah. So I'm dedicated to San Leandro.
We were talking earlier. It sounds like you have some good plans for the marina too.
Yeah, we're into the marina. Right now, we're going to have some development there. We're getting condos and apartments. We're going to get an extra couple thousand people down there. And El Torito's is going away. It's becoming a hotel. But I'm finding, yes, it's going to be a hotel there. So, but I'm finding to get the marina going. We have 4 federal channels in the marina, and we're not receiving no money. So I've been going to D.C., for National League of Cities, and I've been talking to our lobbyists about getting money for dredging. It's 2.2 miles that needs to get dredged, and it's $9.6 million. It might have gone up a little bit. So, but we're looking in ways to dredge it, and there's ways to keep it that way. And then I went to Staten Island, New York, and I talked to them about a ferry service over there. They have free ferry service, they have water taxis, and we need that in San Leandro. We need a ferry service, we need water taxis, we need water Uber. We should be going back and forth to San Francisco all day, in my opinion. That water Uber, people could actually use their own boats, and you get the proper license, and take people back and forth to San Francisco. We want to get cars off the road. And then we're going to have 2 hotels at the marina. My thought is, who's going to stand them? We should connect to the Oakland airport, the San Francisco airport. We're right there. Have shuttles go back and forth. Of course, they'll go to San Francisco during the day, but they'll come stay in our hotels at night. Another thing that worries me is we're going to have a couple thousand more people in the marina. There's only 2 ways in and out. We have marina and we have Fairway Drive. So we don't want to look like Florida during a hurricane or something like in the movies where everybody's trying to escape. So we need to use the water too to be able to escape in case of emergency. So it's vital that we get that bay going and be able to use it.
What happened to my non-political minded friend who would we cast you as a SWAT operator for one of our film guys? Bryan Azevedo was a SWAT operator for our film Iowa's Finest, and him and his team stormed the main library one day and scared the zebras out of the people who didn't know that we were actually shooting the film. It was great. You look great. Your team looked great. But I've just seen you wearing so many different hats, and I'm blown away now hearing this, because this feels great knowing that the good days are coming back to San Leandro. But it's weird. Like I said, me and you could be walking together one day, and then I drop something, or I go to tie my shoe and I turn around, all of a sudden you're breakdancing with the kid in the middle of the street and stuff. I'm like, wait a minute, what just happened? Now you're the vice mayor of San Leandro? Tell me about that route, man.
Yeah, it was a long route. I ran for city council in 2016. I came up a little short the first time, but I never gave up. I just kept on doing stuff for the community, and I've been doing community cleanups for over 8 years now, and I can keep on continue doing that. And I ran for city council in 2020, and I won. I won by almost 3,000 votes, and it was nice. Yeah. And then I just ran for mayor this past year, and I came up a little bit short on 3rd round votes, but that's okay. And now I'm vice mayor.
Okay, nice. So I got a chance to see, Bryan, that video clip, because you're blowing up on the internet, man. First off, congratulations. You're making a statement. Your name is getting out there, and you're staying planted. You're not wavering on anything with your agenda for the betterment of the city. So when I was Googling your name and stuff, just to kind of see how everything's going with you, Mr. Vice Mayor, I came across this video clip of where you and Pete Blue kind of got into it. And I know Pete Blue because he was one of our captains at the police department. So it's kind of different for me to see him in a political role too. So it was, for me, I was just like, who do I go for on this back and forth exchange that it seemed like you two had? I didn't really like how he came at you. And then at the same time, I was impartial, but can you explain that? What happened that day?
Well, we had a vote on vice mayor, and Pete said that he couldn't support me. He wouldn't vote for me because it's an election year, and he wouldn't support someone to be vice mayor on election year. So I ended up telling him that he was being like a hypocrite because he was vice mayor when he was running on an election year. So yeah. I thought that was fair, and I learned the hard way. Even though if you might think some of your colleagues are hypocrites or phonies, even though you think that, you're not supposed to say it during the meeting. And I learned the hard way.
Well, but for a lot of people out there, it's appreciated when people don't sell their soul fully to the political game, where they're gonna say something that they don't really believe in, and then behind closed doors, did you see that freaking hypocrite? What he said to me? If you're gonna say it, feel comfortable about saying it. I'm not saying you. I'm just. That's how it should be. So, did you get any fallout of that or something?
I got some fallout, but no, I agree with you. I got elected to be myself, not to be a phony or a hypocrite. I got elected to listen to the people, Like I tell people, I'm independent. I don't want to hear about Trump or Biden. I want to hear how you can help the community. Parties do nothing but divide us, and I'm all about trying to bring people together, bring people up, and help the community. That's what it's all about,
I love it, brother, and I think you're doing a fantastic job. I was also there, as a police officer. I saw what you did for, the betterment of the police department as well. The police, any police department whatever city is not going to be easy to work with. There's just too many different personalities. You have a chief, you have a assistant chief or vice chief, whatever they call them nowadays and stuff. You have captains. All these people are trying to do everything they can to bigger their name. So they're come up with all these different programs and all that stuff. And it's just they have to start playing the political game too. And there's no consistency, in my opinion, for the most part, for police departments, especially nowadays. I mean, you're trying to appease the community, but you can't do that. So it's not an easy task. And it sounds like you got kind of caught in the middle, even then, with trying to relay your message like, hey, guys, I'm here to support you. But at the same time, I can't support police brutality if that's what you guys are doing, right?
Well, as a council member, as vice mayor, I always look at it mutually. When the police do good, we praise them. When I feel like they do bad, then that's our chance to give them hell, and take the steps that we need to.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. But overall, the San Leandro PD, they're doing a great job. They're fabulous. I love the SLPD. They're doing good. I have a lot of buddies there, and they're doing great work. Jeremy Rocha just saved somebody's life. They're always doing the betterment of the city. The problem is they don't have enough numbers. We're 27 police officers short, and that's the problem. And we have a good chief. I support the police chief, and I think he's doing a great job.
The city, like I said, I've been out for a while. The police department's down 27 officers.
Yes, they're down 27 officers right now.
Wow.
And it hurts the community when they need calls and they have to report something online when they feel like they want a police officer at their house. I mean, it's tough, but when they don't have the numbers, it's hard for them to go there to every thing. They have to go what's more of a priority. If someone's getting killed or a catalytic converter or someone's car, or they have to pick and choose what's more of a priority.
Yeah. Do you have any like plans to help kind of shore up the resources to the police department at all, as we move forward with this year?
Well, I put a plan forward last year and it passed. We were looking into it, we're looking into getting 2 bait cars, so when they steal these catalytic converters, we can trace it back to the stockpile or the business that are selling them. And if they're selling them here in San Leandro, then we're going to catch them. But we're still looking into all that. And then I put forward to get safety ambassadors in downtown San Leandro. So now we have downtown safety ambassadors that walk people to their cars or help people if they need help with anything, or call the police or just help folks out, make them know that someone's there for them, to make them feel safe. And then the other part was to complement the police, to get 6 or 12 people to drive around the streets. And if they see something, they report it. They don't carry weapons, and they just complement the police until we get our numbers back. Because
Well, let me ask you a question. So about 4 or 5 years ago, I did a call, and this is kind of like plays off of what you just said. The 6 or 12, civilians driving around, they're helping keep their eyes on crime. If they see something, they're gonna, kind of sit back and stuff, and then
they don't intervene or nothing.
They sit back in a safe position, and then they don't intervene, but they call the police department. Well, this particular time, I go to a domestic violence call. I see the descriptions are of white female, black hair, and then I can't remember maybe a white male with long black hair. They're fighting in the middle of the street with each other in front of Costco, right? Now, if you know that area, it's super busy, super packed. It's just so many different roads in and out, intersections, stuff like that. It's very congested. So once I spot the girl and I see her walking away, and I stop her to make sure she's, she could be the suspect. I don't see the guy, but I know she's the other half. So I stop her and I'm talking to her. She's just like, yeah, no, I'm fine. And then she starts to walk away. I'm just like, hey, I need to talk to you for a minute. You can't just walk away. She could be the suspect. And she doesn't want to listen to me. And I kind of had to keep stepping in front of her. She actually had a baby. She was holding a baby at one point. And then she was trying to walk away. I'm just like, just hold on right quick. I have a partner coming. He'll try to find the other half once we make sure everybody's safe and okay. The other half, the male half, could be lying in the parking lot in Costco with a knife wound in him. And here I am with the suspect. So I can't just let her go, And so I'm trying to do everything I can to talk her into just remaining calm and just hang out for a minute. All of a sudden, this lady comes, pulls right out next to us, gets out, walks right up there, gets right in my face, and just starts staring at me. And I was like, and I, once I knew it was kind of okay. I turned around, I looked there, and it's like, yeah, are you her friend? Are you her mom or something? She's like, no. I'm like, oh, are you the person who called to, who report the crime? She's like, no. I'm like, are you with social services? Like with the baby or something like that? She's like, no. I'm like, then what the hell are you doing here? She's like, well, I'm just making sure you're doing your job right. I was like, girl, if you don't get out of my face, I'm handling the call right now. And you're like interfering with my freaking, my job.
Yeah.
She had that look like, you can't talk to me like that. And I said, you get 5 seconds. And so, Bryan, it went from me like, hey, yeah, okay, she's here to help. She's, she's going to calm this lady down and all that stuff. And then she was really like there to watch over me as a police officer. I'm highly trained. I've been dealing with these situations for years now. Here you have some lady doesn't know anything about what's going on, but feel like she has the right to get in the middle of a police officer as he's doing his legal duty. So that's going to be a problem, I think, because citizens, you have to find the right citizen who understands, hey, look, the cops have a hard job. Okay. So you just got to know where to jump on in and just kind of like, you're not a cop. If you want to be a cop, go through the training, learn the laws, and then help out. Right?
Yeah. Did it seem like she was trying to get you guys on something? Yeah. We have that sometimes in San Leandro. We had an incident by McDonald's where they just recorded the end. I guess when the police officer arrested someone, they slammed them down and arrested them, but they didn't show the video before where there was the big dispute happened before. So all the community saw was just the end part. Or just only the arresting part, but they didn't see what led up to it. So
really
it's important that people know the full story of what's going on too. That's what's really important. That's the misconception, in my opinion.
That happened in San Leandro?
Yeah, San Leandro, McDonald's, a couple years ago. But we have a lot of different incidents. But SLPD is doing a good job. I mean, we have a big problem with homelessness in our city, and we're working on that too. We're looking into getting a navigation center because not all homeless people are the same. There's ones that are just down on the luck. There's ones with mental, drug issues, etc.
Yeah.
So we're getting up to this navigation center to help identify them. If they're just down on the luck, we'd love to help them get a place. If they have mental or drug issues, then we need to get them the medication or the counseling that they need. So we're working on that right now. And we're looking on the multi-pronged things. We're looking into tiny homes. But I also believe that they have to earn it too. We can't just give them everything. There has to be a balance between the community and the homeless. We can't just give them everything. We got to respect our business owners, our property owners, and everything too. People are paying millions of dollars to live here, so
millions of dollars.
Well, $1 million homes here. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Hey, so there was I was hearing that there's some city that's actually making it a violation if someone stops and they provide food or whatever to the homeless. Have you heard of anything like that?
Oh, no, I haven't heard about that.
Yeah, is that something that you would condone, or you wouldn't?
No, well, I don't. Giving them food, no, I would never stop people from giving them food. Maybe giving them money. I don't give them money no more because they spend it on alcohol or drugs, but food, yeah, I'll give them food. And I don't mind people giving them food. The problem is a nonprofit. I live by the railroad tracks, so a lot of them will go on the railroad tracks. It's an abandoned railroad tracks by Union Pacific, and a nonprofit gave them stoves to cook.
Serious? Out there?
Like little stove things, or kind of like little barbecue stove things, and some hot dogs. So the first, they might have cooked that first, but after that, they were catching fires, drugs with them, instead of. So we got to be careful what we give the homeless, unhoused too, So
wow, that's one of those beautiful, heartwarming stories that is going to have like an awful ending, right? Right there.
Where they could cook food so they could live, be nice right there. But see, the problem with the unhoused and the homeless is they're causing a lot of issues. They're causing with garbage or waking up people at 3:00 in the morning. They're going in their backyards. They're fighting and causing fires. So it'd be different if they're out of sight, out of mind. They didn't bother anybody. Nobody would care. But the problem is they're causing a lot of issues in San Leandro. So we need to work with them and try to get them what they need. But we got to find out too is people have the right to live wherever they want. I don't know. We're looking into that because one of my neighbors tried to get out of their driveway the other day and there was a tent there. And he told me, I had to call the police. I couldn't get out of my own driveway. There was a tent in my driveway. He's like, I should have just ran over. I was like, no, don't do that. He's like, I couldn't even get out of my own driveway. So do people have the right to live wherever they want on public and private property? I don't think so. We're looking into that. So the question is, if we try to give people resources and they reject resources, what's the consequences, So we're looking for that. So
that's a tough one, brother. That's a tough one.
Yeah, it is. That's why it's all about balance. We got to look out for everybody, the unhoused and the people that own houses, and the business owners, everybody.
Ooh, it sounds like
it's tough.
Well, yeah. Well, obviously, and anything political is going to be a very, very tough challenge. But it sounds like from taking on the city council seat, putting in for it, you finally got it. And now you put in from, you ran for mayor, you came short, but you're vice mayor, which is just as a heralding position.
Yeah, well, for mayor, I did get the most votes, but like I told you earlier, I didn't get the most third round votes. I had the most first round, second round, but on third round it got me. So, and they didn't count 3,000 votes. But like I said, I'm doing whatever the betterment for the city is. I'm working with the mayor, and we work good together. We got to bring our city up. We have a lot of projects in the works, but we do have some issues. The three major issues in San Leandro are crime, homelessness, unhoused, and garbage. Those are issues in San Leandro. Because right now it's expensive to live in San Leandro. San Leandro, I don't know if you know, a lot of it's getting gentrified right now. The old rates, people are paying $1,300, $1,500, $1,800 a month. Some of them are getting kicked out or moving out, and then the new rate is $3,000, $4,000 a month. So I'm working with Central Legal right now to keep some people in their homes because the rates are going way up. I hate to say, but even my kids, once they turn 18, a lot of them are moving out of state. My son moved to South Carolina, bought a house for $95,000, a huge house, and already paid it off. My nephew bought a house for $110,000, and then my other daughter moved to Massachusetts, but it's a little more expensive over there. Not than here, but in the South. But yeah. So yeah, we got to make San Leandro affordable too. That's a big issue in San Leandro because some of these houses are $1 million each. That's $10,000 a month just for mortgage. I don't know too many jobs where you could just pay $10,000 a month just for mortgage, not even your other bills. But a lot of people are moving from San Francisco or from other places where they sold their house for more so they could afford a house over here. So, but the people that are starters, it's hard for them to be able to afford a house. So like our kids out of school or young people, it's really hard. It's challenging in San Leandro. So
I tell you what, though, if the city officials are following leads like you're laying down, I think everything's going to be just fine. I was going to put you on the spot and ask you a police question, stuff like that, but I decided I'm going to let you off the hook. No, wait a minute. I just changed my mind. I'm going to ask you.
You go ahead. Ask me.
Okay. No, so, all right. You're a police officer, right? And you see somebody, actually, you give them a warning. You're working a night shift and stuff, and there's a stop sign that just, in some lights, it's hard to see. So, but you're posted up there because that's where a lot of people just, knowingly run through the light. So you pull them over one day, and then you give them a warning because they have a good excuse, and I've never been one of those type of cops where it's just kind of like, oh, you broke the law. No, now you're going to feel the fist that comes down on you. I was never like that, man. If I always say
you were one of those cops where you'd arrest your own mom.
It all depends if she prevented me from she punished me that day. Like if mom called me Kendrick that day, I knew I was in trouble. Now later on that day, if I saw her, she might get a ticket.
Did you stop at a stop sign long enough or something? Yeah.
No, I'm not that evil. But no, just some hardworking cat who just was coming home from work and it was late and just forgot to stop. You give them a break. Then they come back and do the same thing the next day, right? Now you pull them over. It's the same violation. It's a clear violation. Now they won't stop. Okay. So now they're driving through the city and they're basically flipping you off. And now you're putting out on the radio, I have a failure to yield. The car's driving at a slow speeds down Manor or whatever, down towards Farnsworth, and everybody who knows San Leandro know where I'm talking about, but it won't, the car won't stop. Finally, it decides to stop, and then now they won't get out of the car, okay? Tell me what you do at that point.
Well, I don't know what all the protocol is, to be honest with you, but I would think that the police officer would take him out of the car and check him to see if he's a DUI suspect or see if he has anything on him and ask him why he didn't stop and find out what's going on.
He won't roll down the window though or unlock the doors, and he won't even really talk to you. You're trying to say, sir, come out of the car, and you just step out of the car. Forget you, F you. and you're trying to talk to the person calmly. Neighbors start coming out from their houses and stuff like that. Now they got their phones out and they're watching you, and you're trying again, in a very calm manner, to get this guy to step out of the vehicle, because pretty much now you see empty beer cans on the seat and stuff like that, and he's probably is drunk, but he's not coming out of the car. What do you do?
You take them out of the car and arrest them, because how?
Yeah.
I don't know what the protocol is, but I would think you'd break the window and unlock the door or something. I'm not sure what you guys would do. What's the protocol on that? Or
but that there's a bunch of people, citizens out here, who are watching, who are expecting you to not break that door or window, and to keep that guy safe by the police staying on the outside and continuing to talk.
Well, are you sure the community would think that? If I was in a neighborhood, if some seniors or whatever, they would think, okay, well, we got to get this guy. He's going to run over someone, or he's causing trouble. Yeah, it's a tough one.
I like it though. I like what you're saying though, because you did it exactly the way that a police officer are trained. They're trained to do. If there's not a danger, then you can kind of wait. You can kind of coat off a little bit from breaking that window. But the moment it starts to get like, wait a minute, he's revving up the engine and we don't know what this guy's about to do. Yeah, you have to smash that window and get that dude out of that car. Yeah, and so it was I'm very appreciative of you answering that question like that. And that to me just shows that you have police officers back, and you have a certain expectation that, hey, look, just do the most reasonable amount of force to effect the arrest, and anything outside of that is considered excessive force. Yeah.
We need to do what's right for the community. If someone's committing a crime, we need to prosecute them. That's what I always say. If someone's committing a crime, we need to prosecute them. That's it for the crime that they're doing. So.
I love it, brother. Hey, as we wrap it up, is there anything you want to say to our viewers and stuff like that, and listeners?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to say that thank you for having me, and I really appreciate our community and our SLPD. They do a lot, and we're headed in the right direction, and I'm really excited for our future, and I can't wait to see where we go from here. Once we get Bayfair fixed and the marina, and we get all these other projects going on, the sprouts and housing, and San Leandro is going to be really nice. It is.
Cool, brother. Hey, thank you for your time. Is Ricky's, does it look the same at all?
No, Ricky's, yeah, it's different. Yeah, it's different. They added an E in it too, so it's not, it's Ricky's.
What?
I heard, I don't know how true it is, but someone told me that Ricky's wife, Tina, sold all this stuff. So they're actually going to open up a Ricky's sports bar in Las Vegas with all the memorabilia. But that's the rumor going around, but I haven't confirmed it.
Okay. But Ricky's is going to stay in San Leandro, but it's going to be something completely different vibe.
Yeah, it's a different, well, it's still a sports bar, but it's a little different vibe. Yeah. But I mean, it's still kind of cool, and it's nice. And he has different parties, like he has a cigar party outside once a week or something, and he has like different kinds of parties there.
Well, hey, Bryan, I'll leave you with this. When our Raider season starts here in about 4 or 5 months and stuff, I'd love to be able to hook back up with you and kind of do some of the things we used to do when we'd have these Raider watch parties in the beautiful city of San Leandro, and invite the community. We could do stuff like fundraisers and stuff to help and raise awareness for many different calls, suicide awareness, all these different things that we would like to do like we did back in the days. I'm looking forward to being able to branch back off to you, because I do respect what you do. I do respect what you bring to the city of San Leandro, and I'm here for you however you need me to just keep spreading the word of community. Togetherness is what's going to make this world right.
Yes,
it is. All right. Here, tell the family I said hi, okay?
Yeah, I will. Thank you. Take care.
Bryan Azevedo, everybody. You can already tell I am quite fond of the guy, mainly because of the fact of just he has a plan. He's following his calling, and I'm the type of person who loves when people they know what their mission is, and they see it through no matter what the odds or obstacles are in front of them. And that's just the type of person he is. So it reminds me of this this cartoon I remember seeing back when I was a little kid, and it's of this lion who would have this like funny back and forth rivalry with this vulture who's telling him every day, hey, I'm gonna eat you, and the lion's like, no, you're not. And then as they go back and forth, they battle each other and stuff. So they get older, and the vulture's like, no, I'm gonna eat you, and then the lion's like, I'm gonna make sure you don't. So he runs up this hill, and the vulture follows him. Then he closes himself in this little cave and stuff and blocks it off. And like every year or two, whatever, he'd pop his head out, and there was the vulture just there's looking right at the door, waiting for him. It's one of those things where it just makes me laugh, but I really think Bryan is going to outlast all his opposition, and then at some point he's going to get to where his goal is, and right now that appears to be the mayor's office. So I wish him the best luck with everything, and like I said, I'm going to be there however I can assist, because I believe in what he's going for. And we're going to leave it at that. K-Shed episode 20 has wrapped, but we'll see you really, really soon. K-Shed out.